Start your day with Houston's #1 morning news.
ABC 13 Eyewitness News starts now.
And now at 6, a pool party turns deadly. Police saying multiple people opened fire and multiple people were shot.
And 13 investigates, revealing one of the top stolen vehicles in Houston. Why police say thieves are targeting them.
And in Austin, a special session is underway, but there's drama. Why some lawmakers are already threatening to leave.
We begin, though, with those shots fired at a pool party in Northeast Harris County. One teenager is dead and 2 others are hurt.
It happened at an apartment complex on Liberty River Drive off Highway 90 and Beltway 8. ABC 13's Maya Shea live at the complex. In Maya, authorities just identified the teenager who was killed.
That's right. The Harris County forensic folks just identified the teenager as Isaiah Phillips, the name of the teenager who was killed at the shootout that happened at the pool right behind me in this apartment complex. 2 other teenagers were hurt, and a lot of folks are shocked, especially for people who live in the complex, telling me today they want some answers. When the gunfire rang out in the middle of a pool party overnight, resident Gressa Garcia called 911 right away.
Before the shots even went off, I was going to call the cops because they were making too much noise. I'm like, no, it's going to settle down. It'll be fine. But no, that's as soon as that happened, boom, they started going off.
The Harris County Sheriff's Department says about 25 to 30 teens were having a late night pool party here at the complex, which according to residents is a fairly common occurrence.
You know, when it started this summer, yes, they start coming from different places and late. And this community, have, security in the night.
And most of the times, Derek Dunlap says the gatherings are loud, but not violent.
I believe they love the pool over here, so a lot of kids come over here to go swimming. It's usually real nice around here, so never had to worry about anything. But like I said, that was scary last night to hear about that.
But overnight, teenager Isaiah Phillips died and 2 others were hurt. Dunlap's own relatives were supposed to attend, and he is so grateful they did not.
But my nieces and nephews do, and I'm glad they missed this one.
Now, investigators have not arrested any suspects. They really say that they need the public's help. So if you know any information, you're urged to contact the Harris County Sheriff's Department. Galena ISD also telling me their police department is looking into this. They serve this area. They have a lot of kids in the community, and they are looking into or trying to confirm whether any of their students were impacted. We're live in Northeast Harris County. Maya Shea, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Maya, thank you. And Texas lawmakers just got to Austin for the special session, and there's already talk of some of them taking off, and not because legislators are done.
But Democrats are threatening to leave the state. ABC 13's Nick Notario explains why and what this could mean.
4 years ago, you might remember, House and Senate Democrats took off during a special session. The issue was over election integrity. This time around, they're concerned about redistricting. And even though they showed up for day 1, House Democratic leaders aren't sure if they'll keep coming back.
The sounds of the gavel weren't heard long in the House chamber for the special session's first day. About 5 minutes after starting, lawmakers broke until later this week. The question is, will Democrats return?
I've got my bag packed and ready to go. If that's what it's going to take, I'm ready to do it.
We need to, in my opinion, break quorum so that Governor Abbott does not pass this Trump racially discriminatory map.
The concern is over the special session item of redistricting, something that's normally done every 10 years with new census data. However, the governor wants lawmakers to revisit maps 4 years after passing them. ABC 13 confirmed President Donald Trump told state Republicans he wants 5 congressional seats flipped. It's not just representatives thinking about leaving. Senate Democrats are as well.
It comes down to it to save our voices and save our communities and the people that I represent. Everything's possible.
Republicans, though, aren't so sure it's going to happen. After Democrats fled during a special session 4 years ago, they instituted financial penalties.
I think it's a complete bluff. They don't want to have to pay the fees if they do break quorum.
Political experts say Democrats could offset fees with campaign funds.
While there are new restrictions that provide more financial penalties, it's not the type of money that's going to break the bank.
In all, there are nearly 20 items for lawmakers to tackle this special session, including THC, STAR testing, and property taxes. While redistricting got a lot of attention on day one, the first hearing is on flooding, a subject lawmakers on both sides told ABC 13 is a priority.
The first committee hearings tied to the special session will start Wednesday, and that's all about flooding legislation, but redistricting isn't far behind it. The House plans to start its hearings on that issue starting on Thursday. Senate Republicans say they plan to start it on Friday. In Austin, Nick Notorio, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Our coverage of the special session continues in our next half hour with ABC 13's Tom Abrams. Tom doing a deep dive on redistricting and what it takes to redraw battle lines in Texas politics.
And now to our weather, and if you've been outside today, you know there is no doubt it is summer.
Our chief meteorologist, Travis Herzog, watching those heat records closely today. Travis?
Gina, we came 3 degrees shy of hitting a record high today. The record to beat was 101, and we hit our forecast high of 98 degrees. It's now cooled off to 94, but when you factor in the humidity, it still feels like it's 107 degrees outside. That's because of that dew point that's up at 76 degrees. So this was tied now for our hottest day so far in 2025. Where do we go from here? Well, we expect the temperature will continue to slowly drop off. By 8 o'clock, we should be in the upper 80s, and we may not get out of the 80s overnight. This morning, we only cooled off to 80 degrees. We may see something similar coming our way tomorrow. And we'll tack on another degree to the high temperature on Tuesday, one more on top of that on Wednesday. Yes, we might hit 100 for the first time this summer, a couple of times this week. But notice by Saturday, that high temperature comes down to 93 degrees. What's going on? Well, we got an area of tropical moisture. It's actually the remnants of what was once Invest 93 last week. Well, guess what? It's going to recirculate right in the Gulf and back into southeast Texas Friday into Saturday. So we've got more tropical downpours on the way, and I'll have more on that in your full forecast.
Travis, thank you. Well, at some point, we've all likely called a repair person to our home or our business, and they have shown up in a white van loaded down with tools and equipment to work on the problem. Well, police say thieves know how valuable what's inside of those vans is, and that is making them targets.
13 Investigates reporter Micah Hatfield and the team found that those commercial vans are one of the top stolen vehicles in the city of Houston. She joins us live with just how common this is, Micah.
Eric and Gina, stealing a work van really isn't the problem. It's what's inside, because these thieves are really taking someone's livelihood. And unfortunately, data from Houston police shows that this is happening fairly often. When it comes to those white work vans, Alex Isaza, who owns an electrical company, knows all too well.
These vans are targets.
Because not once.
And that one was parked at a gas station that we were doing a job for. And the next day when we came, it was gone.
Not twice.
We have a video of it where they come in and they take it.
But 3 times his vans have been stolen.
He called me, he goes, hey man, can you check your GPS? Something happened to the van, it's not here.
And each time he says he's added more security to keep this from happening, but it still does. It's not so much about the van itself, although that cost him too, but thieves took the tools and materials he needs for jobs.
Because it was gone in 15 minutes.
Isaza estimates between those 3 thefts, it cost him roughly $50,000 to replace what he lost. The second time, he had to cash out a lot of his savings to replace what was taken.
The business got to continue. I can't tell a customer if I'm in the middle of a job or middle of a project, hey, hold off because my van just got stolen. Some people's like, hey man, we have a time crunch and we need to get it done.
It's your HVAC guys, your electricians, your plumbers. These are the guys we rely on for, just our basic, comforts. And unfortunately, they are being targeted.
Houston Police Sergeant Tracy Hicks with the Auto Theft Division says they're responding to calls of vans being stolen at job sites, outside of people's homes, and at stores. If you just look at the data showing the top stolen cars in the city, the work vans don't make the top 15 per se, but if you total up the different makes and models of those vans, they're primarily used by workers. They were number 6 in 2023, the number 4 most stolen car in 2024, and with the latest data we have, number 5 for 2025.
We find almost all of them. They're not stealing them to resell the van. They're not stealing them to take apart. They're literally stealing them just to clean clean them out.
Repair it, paint it.
That van behind Zaza in our interview, it's one of his that's been stolen and recovered. He isn't using it anymore because it's been such a headache.
I've thought about times of quitting. I don't want to do this anymore, but you know, I also think about all the people that we do help that don't have any energy or don't have any power.
And it's been a couple years since his last van was stolen, but Zaza says that he is still recovering financially from having to use his savings to replenish the tools needed for his company. Eric, Gina.
But Michael, what can people do? Surely there must be something they can do to protect themselves.
Well, when we spoke to police, they told us that people should really take all of their tools out at night. Unfortunately, after a long, hard day of work, that doesn't, even more work. And also getting a puck lock for the back of the van. They also said to get a steering wheel lock because, because if the thieves are trying to take the van, take it somewhere else, clean it out, and then just dump the van there, they won't be able to take it with a steering wheel lock, or it might just deter them to go to someone else's vehicle. Back to you guys.
All right, Micah, thank you for that. Well, this next story was breaking news this morning. A small plane crash in the Crosby area.
Yeah, take a look here. Sky I-13 flew over the wreckage, showing us the mangled metal just on the edge of a pond here along Johnson Road. Texas DPS says 2 people were on board and they were not hurt in the crash. The NTSB is also investigating. It's unclear what led to the crash.
Still ahead on Eyewitness News, rebar is usually the material of choice for heavy-duty road repairs, but an ABC 13 viewer spotted the city of Houston using bamboo instead.
Reporter Daniela Hurtado taking that viewer's concern to the city. It's up next. We're back with a road construction question for the city of Houston. And some neighbors in the museum district say road repairs near their homes are being made with bamboo instead of rebar, causing some concern.
This specific road and sidewalk repair is on Wheeler Avenue near Crawford Street. ABC 13's Daniela Hurtado has the story.
A viewer reached out to us concerned because he was walking in his neighborhood and found bamboo being used to repair a road and a sidewalk behind us. We've reached out to the Public Works Department here in the city of Houston, asking and inquiring about this project.
My concern is just the fact that it's not going to last very long and it's just a waste of time.
Robert Christian has lived in this area for several years. He says it's an area that's no stranger to necessary road work and repairs.
Most of the roads in Houston are pretty bad.
He was walking along his neighborhood when he came across this sidewalk and road repair project.
So he looked down there and felt it because just to make sure, I'm like, well, I know this isn't rebar, but what is it? And it just felt like it was bamboo, wood. And
he felt puzzled and immediate concern.
I guess stunned that they would put bamboo in there instead of the rebar.
Christian wants the city to inspect the repair site before concrete is poured on top.
It should be done the right way, not cut corners.
The city of Houston's Public Works Department tell ABC 13 they're investigating the situation after we reached out inquiring about the material being used in these repairs, if it's customary, and for background information on this repair site. City reps this afternoon took away the bamboo material from the repair site. We're still awaiting a response. Industry experts tell ABC 13 they've never seen bamboo be used in this way, and it wouldn't be a long-standing option given the climate in Houston. Daniela Hurtado, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Now, 13 Alert Weather.
Climate is hot and sometimes wet, and we've had a lot of wet this summer, but we're in a stretch of drier weather to kick off this week that will lead to our hottest stretch of temperatures so far in 2025. Today we hit 98 degrees. That ties for the hottest temperature recorded so far this year, and tomorrow we think we'll add a degree on top of that, and then another degree to get us into triple-digit territory Wednesday and Thursday. But after that, the temperatures do dip back down. Why is that? Well, we've got some more tropical moisture on the way, and here's what's going on. We got this heat ridge anchored over the northwest northwestern Gulf. The jet stream's pretty far off to the north here, but what will happen is this heat ridge is going to slide northward later in the week, and that allows this tropical moisture in the Carolinas to flow around the high and back in towards southeast Texas. So we do suspect that later on we will be getting that tropical moisture in here Friday and Saturday. So while there's no rain chance the next 3 days, it starts to come up, and we might even increase Friday's rain chance even more, and we will have to monitor it for the possibility it tries to organize into something more than just tropical moisture. I'll have more on that in just a moment. Outside now, we're cooling off from our daytime high of 98. We're now at 94 in Houston. Still feels like 107 degrees when you factor in the humidity. Meanwhile, it's 89 in Galveston and 95 up around Lake Conroe, with the heat index still nearly 100 degrees in most spots. In fact, it feels like 104 in College Station, 106 in Huntsville. Katie, your heat index is 103. Pasadena, 105 is what it feels like, and that's in the shade. Overnight, we'll drop down into the 70s outside of the urban heat island of Houston, but in the city, with all that concrete that absorbs the heat during the day, it may be difficult to cool off below 80, just like this morning when it dropped down to 80 degrees at Houston's official thermometer, which is Bush Intercontinental Airport. Tomorrow, we expect that thermometer to hit 99 with mid to upper 90s just about everywhere else. And then Wednesday, we're challenging the record high of 101 degrees set back in 2018. Right now, we think the record is safe, but it will be a close call. Now let's talk about the tropics. There is a tropical wave out there in the Atlantic that the Hurricane Center is monitoring, but the odds are it's just going to fizzle out as it gets hit with some drier air and wind shear, so only a 20% chance that that is going to develop. What we'll be keeping a more watchful eye on is what's happening a little bit closer to the good old United States of America, and that is that area of tropical moisture. It's actually the recycled remnants of last week's disturbance we were tracking. Remember Invest 93L? That's the one that is recirculated around and should move its way through the northern Gulf later in the week. And yeah, there is a chance here that we're going to see a little bit of spin get acquired by this, as we're showing right now on our atmospheric moisture products. So we have to watch it for the possibility that it could develop into, let's say, a tropical depression. More than likely, it just remains disorganized, which brings us scattered downpours both Friday and again on Saturday. And then by Sunday, that tropical moisture is out of here. So it's basically 2 days where we have the opportunity for some higher rain chances. So we start off at 80 tomorrow. We'll be dry throughout the day, 93 at noontime, on our way to a high of 99 degrees. And then as we journey through the week, it gets a little bit hotter, and then comes the opportunity for some rain. 40% odds on Friday, 60% on Saturday. But by Sunday, we're back down to just a 20% chance of rain. There's another little pocket of moisture that's going to try to work its way in here next Tuesday, and that'll bring with it a small chance of rain with high temperatures just shy of 100 degrees.
All right, Travis, thanks a lot. And still ahead here on Eyewitness News, hundreds of acres burned on Bolivar Peninsula.
What firefighters say sparked the brush fire that burned all weekend.
It was a tense weekend on Bolivar Peninsula as a brush fire spread over hundreds of acres.
Yes, according to the Port Bolivar Volunteer Fire Department, that fire started on Friday after a lightning strike. Port Bolivar is on the western end of the peninsula. According to firefighters, the flames were way out in the middle of the brush and marsh, so no homes were ever in danger. The Volunteer Fire Department posted updates on its Facebook page all weekend as that fire grew and grew. But a more positive update for you today. The fire chief says the fire is mostly out, beside one bush that keeps reigniting, going back out on its own. The fire department says roughly 249 acres were burned. And we go to Pasadena now, where the city has installed more emergency sirens.
As we reported earlier this year, dozens of sirens were installed in February following the destructive tornado touchdown in 2023. Now, even more sirens are being added, and according to the city, the locations are Olson Park, Bay Area Park, Clear Lake Park, and Pasadena Fire Station number 6. Now, as the new sirens are tested, the city says that you may notice what they're describing as a, quote, growling sound at various times over the next few days.
Still ahead on Eyewitness News, a moving show of solidarity in Washington, D.C. today for parents who lost children in the Central Texas flooding.
And a local boy starting his, quote, life of service on a high note.
Volunteers, it's a program that I started about 2 or 3 years ago, and its mission is to get volunteers to play live music for the animals.
It's a story you don't want to miss ahead at 6:30. A group of Texas moms are in the nation's capital to honor the children who lost their lives in the deadly Hill Country floods.
Texas Moms Rising held a memorial outside the White House this morning. You can see trunks lined in the grass honoring the young campers who died. The group of moms came together following the catastrophic Central Texas flooding, where at least 37 children were killed.
For these girls to not have come home to their mothers is unthinkable. As a mother myself, it's absolutely unimaginable to think about what they are going through in this moment.
As you can see from the signs there, the group was also there protesting budget cuts by the Trump administration. There is no evidence, however, that cuts to the National Weather Service contributed to the disaster in the Hill Country. Well, as we wrap up this 6 o'clock half hour, we want to let you know what we're working on for 6:30.
A new crackdown on nightclubs, the city says, are not playing by the rules. Police launching a new club unit, what they accomplished in their first weekend and what they're looking for.
And the lights are out at the Liberty County Courthouse. Why the building is dark, even though they have a generator.
And our Jonathan Bruce and Eric Simon with Eyewitness News at 6:30 up next.
ABC 13 Eyewitness News starts now.
Welcome in and good evening. Now it's 6:30, the first day of a landmark special session and a power outage shutting down the Liberty County Courthouse.
We begin, though, with a crackdown on bars and clubs that Houston leaders say aren't playing by the rules. The police department's new crime protection team club unit was out this weekend, checking to see if nightclubs are following compliance and safety requirements. According to a social media post by Houston Mayor John Whitmire, more than 100 citations were given out over 3 days. ABC 13's Sarah Alshaik reports from Washington Avenue, where some nightclubs received citations.
According to the mayor, from last Thursday to Friday, 7 nightclubs on this street were cited by HPD's new club unit, one of them being right over here. It received this citation from Houston Fire. It reads, "This building is not code compliant with Houston Fire Code." It's something Jill Herrera says she hasn't seen in the 8 years she's lived near Washington Avenue.
There were no cars, there were no people. It seems that they closed it down.
What's normally a busy neighborhood,
there will be fighting, yelling, gunshots.
Sounded quieter this weekend.
I was actually going to look up, is there some kind of holiday or what's going on? I had no idea.
In a social media post, Houston Mayor John Whitmire said from July 17th to July 19th, there were 13 inspections, 115 citations, 12 warnings, and 5 bars and clubs closed. Some citations were health-related, like unauthorized food service. Others had to do with not having certain documentation, like a certificate of occupancy. 3 clubs on Washington Avenue received those 15-day notices, according to Houston Public Works. The department said within that time frame, if a business does not start the process to try and get the certificate, they could face future citations and possible fines.
But it does seem that it has become unsafe. And I'm glad that they're really cracking down and make sure that it is a safe place.
This new initiative ultimately welcomed by Herrera, who hopes for a safer environment for everyone in the area.
Because I don't want people getting hurt thinking they're coming there for a safe fun night out.
HPD tells me they're focusing on 2 areas, the Washington corridor, which is where we are, as well as the Emancipation area in 3rd Ward. HPD says they plan on having their club unit out doing enforcement every weekend. Reporting in Houston, Sarah Alshaik, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
State lawmakers gavelled in today for a jam-packed special session. They've got 30 days to work through the 18 items on Governor Greg Abbott's agenda. Redistricting, THC regulations, and flood relief are all top topics. The House and Senate are both set to hold hearings on this month's deadly and catastrophic floods in the Hill Country. A committee will then travel to hard-hit Kerr County next week. Lawmakers will also discuss redrawing the state's congressional maps. The Justice Department says 4 districts, including 3 in the Houston area, were unconstitutionally drawn based on race. President Donald Trump has said he wants to flip 5 congressional seats from Democratic to Republican. The House will start tackling redistricting on Thursday, while Senate leadership says they'll start Friday.
And for more on redistricting, I have come out into the ABC 13 newsroom with Tom Abrams, who is so plugged into this. Tom, let's just talk about a little background here, how we got here.
Sure. So there were reports that there was a meeting among Texas congressional members who were members of the GOP, who were all told in a meeting in Washington that the president wanted to flip seats in Texas. He wanted either to maintain or increase the majority in the House for the second half of his term after the midterms. So then when the governor officially announced the special session, he added that to the agenda. Then there was a call last week in which the president told members, the same members of Congress, that he wanted to pick up 5 seats. I'm told by a couple of people on that call, one member said that's ambitious, another said they think it's totally doable.
Very out in the open from the president and from what you've heard about what their intentions are. Is it possible, we've heard some talk that this could actually backfire for Republicans?
There is that potential. There's a lot of talk among Republicans who were in that meeting who apparently were not initially thrilled with this idea, because 2 years ago when they redrew the lines, they actually made them much stronger to protect what might have been some vulnerable Republicans. So by redoing these lines again, they may weaken the strengths of some of those districts, and I'm told that in that industry, they call it dummy mandering. It's when you try to go a little too far, and it ends up costing you. That's certainly a concern among some Republicans that could happen.
ABC 13's Tom Abrams reporting in the newsroom. Obviously, much more on this in the days to come. Tom, thank you.
Sure.
All right, thank you guys. Well, as we get ready to come up on this heat wave, boy, it is rough. Let's turn to the weather. That Houston heat is in full force, so let's get to some more details with Chief Meteorologist Travis Herzog in the Weather Lab.
Hey, Erica, not too concerning overall, all things considered. We do have some heat coming our way this week, but it's going to be short-lived with more rain chances by the end of the week. We're currently at 94, coming off that high of 98. And believe it or not, today's high of 98 ties for the hottest reading so far in 2025. We just haven't gotten up to 100 yet, but that may be changing this week. Of course, it feels like it's over 100. The heat index currently at 107 degrees. This evening, we expect the temperatures to drop into the 80s by about the 8 o'clock hour. And in Houston, we may not drop below 80 degrees. And then tomorrow, we're right back up to where we were today, maybe a degree hotter. So we're predicting 99, tack a degree on top of that, and we're challenging record highs Wednesday and Thursday. But by the end of the week, we back away from 100. Why is that? Well, we've got the remnants of last week's tropical disturbance that will recirculate over the northern Gulf, and that tropical moisture takes the second pass through our part of the state to bring an opportunity for some cooling downpours. I'll have more on that coming up in your full forecast.
Travis, thanks. Good to see you. The Liberty County Courthouse is without power for a second day. This after the city manager says an electrical transformer blew out.
He says the courthouse in Liberty is set to reopen tomorrow. ABC 13's Pooja Lodia went to Liberty County, where she learned county officials just received a new generator last month.
You can see this generator right here behind me. It was just donated last month, actually. And according to the company, is supposed to be used to power key facilities. So basically, it's supposed to be used to avoid situations just like this. The problem, according to maintenance workers, is that this generator is so new that it's never been used before and wasn't hooked up. So when the city transformer blew yesterday, power immediately went out. According to the city manager, he says another transformer has been ordered and is scheduled to be installed early tomorrow morning. The good news, according to the Precinct 1 commissioner, is that there were no criminal trials scheduled for this week. Pooja Lodia, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
We're learning more tonight about the 21-year-old man who Houston police say killed 2 people within 4 days.
A second murder charge was filed today. According to court records, Isaac B. Ice is now charged in the murder of a 65-year-old man outside a Wingstop on West 34th in Northwest Houston. Police say the man was leaving the restaurant just after midnight on July 16th when he was shot and killed after an argument with 2 men. 4 days earlier, authorities allege B. Ice shot and killed 21-year-old Emiliano Carino in a strip center parking lot off South Gessner in Houston's West Chase neighborhood. Carino's mother told ABC 13 on Friday her son did not know B. Ice. A second teenage girl has entered a plea after investigators say they plotted to blow up Memorial High School earlier this year.
Real serious stuff. A 15-year-old and 16-year-old were arrested back in February. Last week, law enforcement sources confirmed to ABC 13 that a 15-year-old pled guilty to conspiracy to commit murder for the plot. Today, FBI Houston says the 16-year-old pled guilty to making terroristic threats. The FBI says both of them will remain on probation until they are 18 years old.
Still to come tonight, a former police officer in Kentucky convicted in relation to Breonna Taylor's death now knows his fate.
The sentence a judge handed down and the drama outside the courtroom.
It was not fun, but I do apologize for it, and I thank you for understanding.
Also, an apology from a Delta pilot moments after he says he avoided a collision mid-air. We'll have the update just in from the Air Force. And as we go to break, here's a check on our Monday evening drive times. No one in the red. That is a good thing. Baytown in the lead there, just 19 minutes. We'll be right back.
The man convicted in one of the nation's most notorious missing child cases will get a new trial.
A federal appeals court overturned Pedro Hernandez's guilty verdict today. Hernandez was sentenced in 2017 for murdering 6-year-old Etan Patz in 1979. Today, a 3-judge panel ruled the conviction was prejudiced after the jury got improper instructions. Hernandez's first trial in 2015 ended in a hung jury. According to court records, he confessed after his 2012 arrest, telling police he lured Patz into a basement as he walked to a school bus stop in New York in 1979. Hernandez's attorneys say he was mentally ill when he gave that confession. Patz was among the first children pictured on milk cartons, and his disappearance led to the creation of the National Missing Children Hotline. Some other stories making headlines tonight.
The ex-police officer convicted of a civil rights offense in relation to Breonna Taylor's death has just been sentenced. Brett Hankinson will serve 33 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. The former Louisville, Kentucky police officer was found guilty of violating Taylor's civil rights after blindly shooting into her apartment in March 2020. His bullets, however, did not hit anyone. Outside the courthouse, protesters blocked traffic and demonstrated. Police in Louisville say 4 people, including Breonna's aunt, were arrested. Earlier this month, the Department of Justice recommended Hankinson should receive 1 day of imprisonment. Attorneys for Taylor's family warned that would set a dangerous precedent.
The Pentagon announcing today roughly 700 Marines mobilized last month to respond to protests in Los Angeles are being sent home. The Marines help protect federal buildings and personnel. Now, last week, 2,000 California National Guard members were also released. Another 2,000 troops are still on the mission.
The actor who played teen son Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show has tragically died. We've been talking about it all day. It's awful. Authorities in Costa Rica say Malcolm Jamal Warner drowned after getting caught by high current in the water Sunday. The 54-year-old was nominated for his work on The Cosby Show and was a Grammy Award winner.
Dozens of people had to be rescued from a chairlift at a zoo outside of Boston. Officials say the ride experienced a, quote, unexpected issue that caused it to shut down with people on board. Firefighters used lifts and ladder trucks to help get the people back on solid ground. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. The FAA says it's looking into an apparent close call between a Delta Airlines flight and a B-52 bomber.
The Delta Airlines pilot apologized to its passengers once they landed.
Sorry about the aggressive maneuver. It caught me by surprise. This is not normal at all.
Well, this was on Friday near an airport in Minot, North Dakota. The Delta regional jet from Minneapolis was about to land when the pilot says he had to avoid a mid-air collision.
All of a sudden, we just kind of jerk really hard to the right. He just kept taking more turns and more turns, and he gets on the announcement and says, like, I'm sorry, everybody. I'll explain everything once we've landed safely, which was like kind of a red flag.
Well, I've seen a B-52 in person. They are big, big, big. It's not clear how close the planes came to each other. SkyWest, which operates the regional jet, says the jet, quote, landed safely in Minot after being cleared for approach by the tower, but performed a go-around when another aircraft became visible. Just in, the Air Force says a B-52 bomber had just performed a flyover at the North Dakota State Fair. A spokesperson says the crew alerted the Minot International Airport tower and were told to to continue for 2 miles. The Air Force says the B-52 crew was not alerted about the inbound commercial aircraft.
The Delta pilot got a round of applause from the passengers when he made that announcement. Live look at downtown Houston as we talk about our weather. The summer has spared us its heaviest blows so far, Erica.
Yeah, but you know, this is Houston, right? The Texas summer heat, we know, and somehow find a way to tolerate has arrived. Chief Meteorologist Travis Herzog is here with the latest. Trav.
All right, Erica, we'll get the heat headline out of the way first, so you can just ignore the first thing I talk about. We're looking at triple-digit heat for the first time in 2025. Now, on average, Houston gets its first 100-degree day by July 19th, and hey, it's July 21st, so we're doing okay. But we're firmly in 100-degree season, so it's bound to happen at some point. But whatever heat we have these next few days is short-lived because we've got tropical downpours coming back as another round of tropical moisture rolls in Friday and Saturday. But it's not a total loss for your weekend. The weekend might start with a chance of rain, but we should finish up fairly dry with the rain chance dropping down to 20% by the time Sunday rolls around. So here's what's happening on the map. We got a heat ridge anchored over the northwestern Gulf. The jet stream is pretty far off to the north, and there's this moisture off the Carolinas that's going to rotate around this heat ridge. Well, what happens is the heat ridge doesn't stay put all week. It lifts to the north, which means the tropical moisture will end up coming our way. So that's what we expect to happen again as we approach the end of the week. So we've got Friday, Saturday marked for days where there could be some heavy downpours rolling in. Other than that, it's a dry forecast until we get to Friday, and we may increase Friday's rain chances. A lot of tropical moisture looks like it may come in here starting Friday, continuing through Saturday, but then the rain chance pretty quickly drops down to 20% behind it as it exits fairly quickly. So it's kind of a 1-2 day event, and then it's out of here. All right, temperatures currently in the 90s for the most part, and the heat index in Houston still 107 degrees. That combination of heat and humidity is pretty close to what triggers a heat advisory. That'd be a heat index of 108 or higher. It still feels like 106 in Huntsville, 105 in Pasadena, 103 currently in Bay City, and in Galveston, if there was no breeze, it would feel like it's about 102. Overnight, we drop down into the middle and upper 70s outside of Houston. In town, a little difficult to drop below the 80-degree mark due to the urban heat island. All the concrete of the city absorbs that heat during the day, and it's tough to let it go at nighttime. Then tomorrow, we should crack up into the upper 90s. We hit 98 today. We think we'll do 1 degree hotter tomorrow, and then a degree hotter than that by the time Wednesday rolls around, which will challenge the record high of 101 degrees. Right now, we think the record is safe, but it does look like between Wednesday and Thursday, we're probably going to hit the century mark for the first time this summer, and hopefully the last time this summer. In the tropics we go, and there's a 20% chance that this little wave will develop, but it's probably not going to as it moves into a more hostile environment approaching the Caribbean. That's good news. The main thing we are watching is actually off the East Coast, where there's this pocket of disorganized tropical moisture. Well, that tropical moisture is coming our way as it rotates around that heat ridge, and again, we have to watch it for the possibility that some low pressure tries to spin up. I can't totally rule out that we're going to see a circulation develop here like the model is showing there near Louisiana. Don't think it's going to develop into much, but could we get a tropical depression out of this? Yeah, it is certainly possible, so it's something that we'll be watching carefully as the moisture piles in here on Friday and continues on Saturday. Then Sunday, it's gone. All right, so we start off at 80 tomorrow. By noontime, we're already at 93 degrees on our way to that high of 99. No rain in the forecast tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday, but we do get the chance of showers and storms Friday and Saturday, and that brings the high temperatures down closer to 90 degrees, kind of like we've seen repeat all summer long. The rain just doesn't want to quit us. The heat comes in and then it comes right back out. So yeah, it's still going to be hot, but nothing extreme for Houston standards, and we'll have another chance of some rain to help out with some of those lawns that are starting to get a little bit crispy. And I want to let you know that today's weather sketcher is Karina D. from Spring, Texas. Take a look at what she drew this beautiful sunny day with her entire family. Even got them labeled there. Brother, me, Mom, Dad. It almost reminds me of an episode of Bluey. So thank you to Karina for drawing that beautiful sunny picture. Hopefully the sun will be nice to us this week, even though it is going to be getting a little bit on the hot side. Jonathan, Erica?
Great job, Karina. Thanks, Chief.
Family affair.
Let's get to some breaking news. Sky 13 is up above a fire in East Harris County. This specifically is off the Crosby Freeway near Sheldon Road. There were active flames when Sky Eye arrived, but firefighters appear to be knocking them down. We've got calls out to find more about the fire and whether or not anyone was hurt.
Well, animal shelters can be a loud and stressful place for dogs and cats waiting for their forever home.
But one 12-year-old boy from Houston wants to change that.
My entire life, I have absolutely adored animals, and I find it really touching that I'm able to make such a difference in their life.
We'll tell you how this wonderful kid is using his music to help animals relax.
Experienced, accurate. ABC 13's morning meteorologist, Alita Loreska.
Glad you're with us tonight as we turn to our ABC 13 localist team who works to put a spotlight on the wonderful people all across our community doing such great things.
That includes 12-year-old, a boy named Yuvi. He's using his talents for music to help sheltered animals who need a little love. Take a look.
Tunes. It's a program that I started about 2 or 3 years ago, and its mission is to get volunteers to play live music for the animals, because a lot of them have come from very high-stress environments and very extremely stressed and very anxious. And music has been clinically shown to help reduce that stress and anxiety. My entire life, I have absolutely adored animals, and I find it really touching that I'm able to make such a difference in their lives.
So when Wild Tunes approached us with this idea, it was amazing. We know that animals love music, and so to have somebody, especially somebody as young as Yuvi and his friends come out, it was just a really great opportunity to involve all of us and have the animals get some great enrichment with that.
When I walk in, they're obviously very excited and barking, and I'll set up, and then I'll start playing, and then there's always a couple of small dogs in the front, and they will calm down very quickly. So any volunteer of any skill level can join our program, and the only restriction is the age requirement of the shelter. If you put your heart to it, you can use your talents to change society for the better.
Well said, Yuvi, and we have a lot more on Yuvi's nonprofit Wild Tunes and details on how you can volunteer. You can see our extended story at abc13.com/localish. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. You are getting a live look from Sky I-13. This is on the Beaumont Highway, we're told. Not sure what exactly is burning here, but crews are actively fighting it. You can see the firefighters there with their hoses, and they seem to be making some fairly good progress because most of the flames, at least the large ones, appear to be out. Jonathan.
We do believe this is a recycling center. We're working to get the exact data, but you can see a lot of stuff burning there. We will keep you all updated. Looking ahead, meanwhile, there's a memorial tomorrow for a renowned political scientist at Rice University.
Bob Stein appeared frequently on ABC 13. You probably recognize his face. The university says he died last week after a brief battle with cancer. He was 75 years old. He was a respected resource in voting and local government, and we often relied on his expertise in our political coverage. The memorial is tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Temple Emmanuel on Sunset.
Final look at our weather with Chief Meteorologist Travis Herzog. Travis.
All right, we are starting to see those temperatures slide on down. It's a slow fall from that 98, but we're currently at 92. The heat index still 104, but the heat index also assumes there's not much of a breeze. We got a southeast wind at 14 miles per hour, so that certainly helps out when it comes to the heat. We're no longer seeing the triple digits in our northwestern suburbs like we had earlier. It's now 96 in Cypress and Klein, 97 in Bridgeland. Closer you get to Galveston Bay, the lower the temperatures. Morgan's Point still sitting at 88 degrees. We are expecting that those temperatures will continue to slide their way on down, and then tomorrow we're forecasting those highs to get closer to 100.
Travis, thank you. That's it for us.